Hello everyone, Sandi here. August. We're here to talk about August. um, I know I said in my previous wrap up video that I might not be doing these wrap up videos much longer. Um, and I'm gonna try for as long as I can, and maybe I'll miss 1 month or something like I did last time. But I don't know if I'm gonna call them wrap ups anymore. It might be catch ups. I don't know. It doesn't really matter, does it? As long as I just show up here for you guys and for myself to reflect a little bit over the month that has gone by. And now, usually I show you all my new decks for the month and stuff like that in these videos. This month, though, I'm not going to show you my new decks because I feel like I have quite a lot of new decks. I've had a couple of parcels come in. I have friends in various places in the world who are kind enough to let me order decks and send them to them, and then they send them on to me in like one bundle just to save on shipping and stuff. So I have periods of times where I don't get any decks in, but that's because they're all stored at somebody else's place. And then when they arrive, I get a bit overwhelmed because I get a big parcel full of like decks, new decks, and now I have received 2 of these parcels, and I have quite a lot of stuff to show you. So, but I've decided that I'm gonna do like a you know, specific haul video, or a video with just all my newest additions to my collection or something like that, and because that would just take up so much time, and I also have a few of them unopened yet because I want to do unboxings and first impression videos and stuff like that. So that was a long preamble as to why I'm not showing you any new decks today. But yeah, I'm going to show you some the cards that have been most important to me this month and talk a bit about them. And I'm going to show you the decks that I've been working with. That's brought me a lot of comfort and meaning. And then I will also talk a little bit about maybe music and some stuff that I've been working on overall. So let's just get started, shall we? I have had a very, very tough month, probably one of the toughest I've ever experienced. I'm not going to go into details because it's very, very personal. I just want you to understand why I've not been as active on here and on Instagram. I'm okay. I will be okay no matter what happens. It's just a very, very tough and emotional time with some very big life decisions coming up for me. And it's a long drawn out process that's going to take a lot of time. So this is probably going to be a situation that's ongoing for me for at least the next year, at the very least. So I'm slowly learning to live with this new situation, and I'm slowly learning to explore myself more and find out what I personally, just me, really want, and not to take any anybody else in mind, because I've always been a little bit of a what would you call it, people pleaser, as the word is the worst word for it, I suppose. I don't like it when people are angry at me or upset with me in any way, and I have a fear of conflict, which I'm working on. But this means that I often tend to put myself last, and I often tend to put everybody else's wants and needs before mine, which means that over the years, I've completely lost touch with myself and my needs and wants in a way that I don't even know what I want or need anymore. I have no connection to myself in that sense, or at least it feels like that, every now and then. I might sound a little bit dramatic here, but I often sit down and I think, what do I want to do right now? Or what do I even want to eat right now? If I'm hungry, I feel like I need to eat something. I know I need to eat something because I haven't eaten all day long. But I cannot for the life of me think of anything that I would like to eat. And that's a problem. That's a problem. So that's something that I'm aiming to work on now in the next year, just to get in touch with myself, get in touch with my body, and get in touch with who am I? Who am I? And get to learn, get to know myself more. Yeah. And to try and be comfortable with what I find, I suppose. This is turning into a bit of a therapy session now. Either way, I wanted to show you some cards that have really been beneficial for me this month and that I've kept up on my altar. And I'm going to start with some of the less, deep cutting ones, I suppose. But I've been really enjoying the Fae Oracle. Hang on, what's its actual name? I'm going to take... Forest Fae. I've been really enjoying the Forest Fae little rock pool oracle lately. I love Nadia Turner's artwork. I've said that so many times on this channel. Look at these backs first of all, though. They're so gorgeous. I love them. But this was the first card. I have two cards from this deck that's been out on my altar, and the first one that I pulled was Seed Spells. Create your story. It is the most potent form of magic. So this one has been kind of up on my altar to just remind me of this, create your story. It is the most potent form of magic, to kind of really just reflect on me and my story and what I also want my story to be, in the future. Like, what is it that I want to be my story? Thinking ahead to end of life, big stuff, big feels, like, what do I envision for myself in my life? And what would I be prepared to do to get there, if there's such a thing? And also, I've also been pondering, is this actually a helpful question to ask? That's another thing as well. Like, is it a helpful question to ask this from myself, or is it just creating more dissonance and more like removing myself more from the present moment? Do you know what I mean? So big questions. Trying to find the core, like like the glowing light here in her chest, trying to find the core of what I want without removing myself from the present moment. And just letting the story unfold as well. There's a balance there, because I strongly believe, I strongly believe that there is wisdom and happiness in just living your life, as well as you can each day, and to try and find those moments in each day. And I think that's how you live a simple but meaningful life. But at the same time, you risk, if you don't take a step back and look at the bigger picture now and then, I think you do also risk ending up feeling like you don't, like you're just floating around, and not making any plans, or I feel like I would wake up one day and just think, where did the last 20 years go by, and go. And I kind of feel like that about my last my previous 10 years. It feels like the last 10 years of my life have just disappeared in a flash, and I have a hard time remembering what I've even been doing. But I suppose that's also life after you've stopped studying and exploring a bunch of different options and making really big life decisions, where, when you're studying, you're choosing your place to study, you're choosing, like meeting a bunch of new friends, you're usually traveling a lot, and just, lots of things happening in the few short years while you're studying. And then when you find a permanent job, you stay still. The contrast there, you stay still between having this really fast-paced, lots of things happening life, to suddenly being in a permanent position where you do the same thing usually day in and day out. And I am coming up to my 10-year anniversary for my my job, and I suppose it's a bit of a feeling of crisis, that I've just been living in the same place, or in the same city, and working at the same place among the same people for the past 10 years, and feeling a bit like, wow, the years have just kind of muddled together, and you start to realize the importance of the seasons, and also of like the traditions of having points in your year where you take stock and celebrate things. So, for example, following the Wheel of the Year is something that I'm aiming to do in the future, for example. So that was just the one card. We're going to be here for quite a while. The second card is Away We Fly. Just take the cloud roads, delight in your imagination. So with these two combined, I felt a really strong bond to them. So I put them up on my altar, like I said, and it's just, playing with my imagination as to, that story part of what I just talked about, just trying not having the need of making decisions straight away. Just take the time to feel all of the things that I'm feeling. Take the time to imagine and to play with different thoughts, different possibilities. what would happen if I choose this path? What would happen if I choose this path? And of course I can't know what would happen, and I wouldn't want to know. But at the same time, just like taking the time to just imagine myself in those situations and those scenarios, and just feeling as well that no matter what I choose, things will be okay. Like I had this really difficult, like I said, this really difficult time this month. But engaging in this practice, in just daydreaming, just imagining the different possibilities I would have depending on what path I choose, and finding that I found exciting and exciting and just happiness bringing is the only thing I can think of now. Happiness bringing things about both scenarios made me calm down a lot. I don't like change, and change is what's coming my way, whether I like it or not. So, because change is unavoidable, but I've been living a very sheltered and a very calm and comforting existence for the last 10 years. Well, that's not really true. I mean, it's objectively true, but I have had a lot of loss, deaths in the family and stuff like that. That's, shaking things up. But the core of my surroundings, my home, my work, my partner, everything has been very stable. And now things are being shaken up. And it's felt like all of my safety has been shaken up. And but doing this practice and finding that things will turn out all right either way has been a really big comfort for me. It will be painful either way, but eventually I will get through it. And that's what these two cards have done for me this month, and it's been really, really helpful. Another card that's been up on my altar has been the Frog and the Lotus from oh my goodness, my mind right now. Woodland Wardens. That's the name of the deck. If you've watched my previous wrap-up videos, I've been talking about the card that I've had on my altar previously, which was Lily of the Valley with a salmon? No, cod. A fish. Oh my goodness, this is really bad. Either way, for the life of me, I can't remember what kind of fish it was now, which is really silly because it was on my altar for like 4 months at the very least. But I felt like it was time for that one to be changed out. It was part of one of my self-exploration spells, and I felt it needed to be changed, and I almost I laughed and almost, got a bit angry at the deck when I pulled out the Frog and the Lotus with the with the keyword metamorphosis, which is just, so on the nose for what's happening in my life right now that I haven't actually started expanding on that at all yet. I pulled it a few days ago, and I just thought, I'm not ready for this yet. I will get to it eventually. So, yeah. Another deck that looks seriously, the cards this month have been so well, they've been helpful but also kind of harsh. I also pulled a card from the Fairies Oracle, and I pulled the Gloomiest Doom fairy, which was really helpful, I must say, but still also kind of telling me off a little bit. I had, like I said, it was when I was in the thick of it this month. This card really helped me a lot because I was stuck in a loop of feeling sorry for myself and thinking all of these doom and gloom thoughts. It felt like my world, my life was ending, and I couldn't see any solution that would help me at all. And then I pulled the Gloomiest Doom and I read the guidebook, and I'm not kidding you when I'm telling you that this card at this moment has solidified this deck in my life as indispensable. He has helped me so much this month. I kid you not. I've had him on my altar, and whenever I've started feeling a little bit forlorn or self-pitying or yeah, doom and gloom, I've looked at his little face and recalled what the guidebook told me about how we can create all of this hurt and pain in our lives just through how we just have these looping doom and gloom thoughts in our heads, and kind of shutting us away from the important parts, or shutting ourselves away from seeing things clearly, and also how we kind of tend to indulge a little bit in this as well. We wallow sometimes, and it's good to wallow. It's part of the process of grieving and getting through things. But wallowing can also hinder you from progressing, and if you indulging in it in excess. And Gloomiest Doom is just so funny and cute looking and very, it kind of gives you a mirror as well. Like, you look at that face and you think, oh, poor Diddums, just snap out of it. So yeah, Gloomiest Doom, my companion this month, and he's been great, honestly. Right, so the next card I had on my altar is from the Oracle of Mystical Moments, and I pulled this in the depths of everything, and it just really brought me a lot of comfort, and it's the wild white rose of hope, and it just brought me, it's just such a calming picture with the white rose at the chest space, the heart space, and this woman kind of just leaning into it, seemingly just trusting herself and everything, and yeah, it brought me a lot of comfort, White Rose of Hope. And at the same time, I decided to pull a rune, because I made my own rune set that I finally finished this month, and I'm going to show you that in a little bit. But the rune that I pulled was Tiwaz, that stands for courage and justice. And I decided to show you because I when I pull a rune, I also pull the card out from this runic oracle Odyssey. Runic Odyssey Oracle. It's probably the right name. But decided to display my rune together with the White Rose of Hope for the month. And they've been on the altar together. Just have the courage to still feel a sense of hope in these difficult times. And I am still waiting for a rune book to arrive that I've ordered. I've been making do with the, like I said, the Runic Odyssey Oracle guidebook, as well as the Healing Runes by Ralph H. Bloom and Susan Lowen. Is that how you pronounce that name? I'm not sure. I've heard good and bad things about this book, though. People have been saying it's not very good if you want to be studying the runes seriously. I'm more into pulling runes and reading comforting messages and kind of gaining some insight. And I think this book, even though it might have a system that's a little bit, kind of made up by the author, that's what all of the oracle decks are, and to some extent also different tarot decks. It's a person and their personal wisdom that they are sharing with you. And yes, I know that runes have this kind of sense of being old and mystical, and it needs to have like this specific system. But at the same time, I also do feel like people keep adding to their own things to it all the time, just like with tarot. And so I've decided that I'm gonna keep this book and keep it around and take what resonates and leave what doesn't, just like with any tarot book, really. But anyway, Tiwa's courage was the buzzword that I chose to bring with me this month, and that I felt and reflected on every time I saw it when I sat down in front of my altar this month. So yeah, and this is then what the runes look like. I made them with air dry clay that I pushed into a mold that I bought online, and then I painted. Sorry, it's not going to show you very well on this front facing camera, but it's indented, and then I painted it with this gold acrylic paint that I have. The folk art gold paint, acrylic paint, and then I sealed them with a couple of layers of matte spray varnish, just to stop them from leaving a fine dusting of air dry clay everywhere. So yeah, I really like them. I have another set as well that I bought on Etsy, which is a really tiny little cute set, very minimalist. It's just these pebbles with the drawn runes on them, and this is the one that I like to use for when I'm drawing the runes, and these are the ones that I choose to use for displaying them. Really, I might make a bigger bag for these so that I can actually pull these ones as well and have these as some kind of, you know, spare or something, but I really like these little ones. It's just that you can't really display them very well. They're so tiny, but they're very cute. And yeah, so those were the things that's been kind of helping me out this month. And yeah, really kind of, I mean, I feel like I want to use my cards every day, but at the same time I know that the bigger and, for me, the bigger and the more important meanings come to me throughout a longer period of time. And I've talked to you about this before, about how I've started using this slow tarot, not method. I don't think it's a method. It's just basically when I have a reading that resonates really well, I decide to put that card out on my altar, and I need to, because I need more time to reflect on it. I had this reading as well by Lisa Papes on her monthly membership reading marathon this month, where she pulled these cards for me from the Rainbow Tarot, and I decided to take the cards out of my deck and just have them out on my desk and reflect on them every now and then. It's a huge reading, really. I mean, it's the Death card, the Knight of Wands, and the Star card. And to tell you how shook I was when this reading came up is an understatement. Honestly, I still kind of feel like, yeah, thank you so much, tarot. I know I have really big things to talk about, two big choices to choose between, and yeah, I've just been not stumped, but I feel like I need to reflect on this some more and maybe do another reading to expand upon it, because yeah, this just kind of it didn't make me feel any better. But it's a really helpful reading in the sense that it's just pointing out the things that I need to look at. So, but let's move on to some other decks that have helped me this month, but has not, been part of the altar space. So one deck that's helped me a lot this month, that's actually new and will be featured in my whole video, is the Heart Align Affirmations Oracle by Kimberly M. Tan. I've wanted this deck for so long. So long, and I ordered it finally probably like 2 or 3 months ago. Had it sent to my dear friend Krista, and she ended up loving it so much. She wanted to open it and have a look at it, and she loved it so much so she asked if she could keep my copy and she would order me a new one. And I said yes, sure, because it's gonna take a while for me to it's gonna take a while before you send the parcel anyway, so just you go ahead. But yes, first of all, look at these backs, this rainbow hollow heart key. I mean, it's just everything. I love it so much. This deck has these little holographic like spot gloss hearts on them that you can like put your fingers on and rub and just reflect on the little message. And the messages are just so comforting and helpful. It says here, I value my thoughts and opinions, and I allow myself to express them without apology. Really powerful statement. You hide because you want to be found. Yeah. You are not a burden. I may feel damaged and broken, but I know in my heart that I am whole and worthy of love. There's just so much kindness and love in this deck. And also, I forgot to show you the rainbow hollow edges. It's the cutest little deck, and I love it so much. And I'm so happy that I finally have it in my collection, and it's going to be living on my desk for the foreseeable future. And I've been pairing this deck with my Dreams of Gaia tarot. It's been such a good pairing, honestly. I adore this deck so much. The card that I pulled together with a really potent card from the Heart Align was the Scribe. I will try and remember to insert a picture of the reading here. And the reading itself was out on my desk for about a week, just because it just kept reminding me of the importance of keeping up with my journaling in this time. To just sit down with myself and just talk to myself through journaling. And I just, it's something that I've fallen away from. I used to journal a lot, and now I haven't journaled in what feels like years, really, properly. I mean, I've sat down and done some writings, but not in the same way that I used to do. And this one just really kind of drove home the importance of it, for some reason. And yeah, but no, this deck and I are still on our journey together, and I adore it. I adore it so much. And it's yeah, goes so well with the Heart Align, in my opinion. The next deck that has given me some thoughts to chew on this month is the Crystal Tarot. This is I found out a older printing of this deck, because it's got these peacock backs. But I just love this artwork so much. I found it for £8 when I was in England at Watkins bookshops, second-hand deck like this. They had a little shelf with some second-hand decks, and they had it for £8, and it's completely unused. It looks brand new, and it's such a gorgeous deck, you guys. I just love it. I don't even mind the pips. Like it's I've been trying to get on with pips since I bought the Squid Cake Marseille. And I love the Squid Cake Marseille, I do, but I'm not really, I haven't started my Marseille study or anything that yet, so it doesn't feel intuitive for me to read with it. But for some reason, this Crystal Tarot feels much more intuitive for me than I thought a pip deck could ever do. So yeah, I absolutely adore this deck, and it shuffles like an absolute dream. I love shuffling this deck, and like I've said before, if a deck shuffles really well for me, chances are that I'm gonna connect with it a lot better than a deck that I can't shuffle easily, you know. This riffles and overhand shuffles just to perfection. Love it so much. Another deck that I've shown several times on this channel, that always helps me out when I'm in a rough spot, is the Soul's Journey Oracle. Or Soul's Journey Lesson Cards is the actual name. I actually trimmed this month and edged it. It used to have these gilded, like harsh gilded edges, and it was a lot larger, but now I've trimmed it down so that it will be easier for me to riffle shuffle it. And I really love the color combination I managed with here. I really do. I can't get enough of this deck, to be honest. It's not something I use every day. Sometimes I do for a period of time, pull a card a day, but usually it's when I just need some kind of wisdom in my life. I feel lost or at a loss to what to do or what would be helpful in that situation, like to change my mindset. I always turn to this deck. It's just become one of my go-tos. Yeah, I think it goes with so many decks as well. So the Soul's Journey lesson cards have been there for me a lot this month as well. Yeah. On top of all of this, really, what's been helping me has been the book that I've been reading as well. I started a new book this month. I'm listening to an audiobook. It's a book that I've started reading many years ago, that I never finished. And I didn't really quite clearly didn't remember anything of what I had read, so it was just as well that I started from the beginning. Yeah, I started listening to the audiobook version of Wicked, which is the book that the musical Wicked is based on, and so far I'm really enjoying it, and it's been my little escape this month to just listen to that when I walk to and from work, or just take a moment before bedtime to just sit down and have a listen, either while I'm doing some crocheting or while I just lie with my eyes closed and listen. So that's been really lovely, a really lovely part of my day-to-day life that I've been enjoying. And then last but not least, I wanted to talk about some music. Music is also something that tends to really get to me and can either make things worse or better. I have a very deep connection to I feel the music that I listen to a lot, and one of the music, one of the things that I wanted to mention was this playlist on YouTube, or there's this new lo-fi beats channel that I found on YouTube that I've been listening to a lot this month, and I will link that down below. It's called Shilo the cat, and it's just got the most uplifting and calming and relaxing music, and I've just been loving it. I've been listening to it while I've been at work. Those days that I've had a hard time being at work or doing anything productive at all, I've put my headphones on and just listened to this while I've been focusing on my work, and it's been helping me a lot to keep my mood elevated. Another thing that I've been listening to a lot is, I think I've mentioned this band before, but it's this folk band called Fluke. That's Flook. And I have a really strong connection to flute music for some reason. I mean, I did used to play the flute when I was younger, but there's this, all of you have probably heard of the tin whistle, but there's this other Irish folk instrument called like a low whistle, which has a much lower sound and register, and Fluke has a lot of that instrument in its music. And there's two tracks specifically that I listen to whenever I have a hard time walking to work, because I walk to work, and some days when it's raining or it's, I wake up and I just really don't feel like doing or going anywhere. Once I've managed to get myself out of bed and dressed and out on the road, I put my headphones in and I listen to Ellie Goes West is the first track, and then the second one is a compilation track. I know exactly where it is on the playlist, but me and names. Wow. The second one is called Reeling for Rubik, I think. I'm going to put the name down below here because I don't want to... I think it's Reeling for Rubik. But it's combined with another one, so it's two tracks like kind of merged into one, and it just helps me get my feet moving. I love those two tracks so much, and anything on their This Is Fluke playlist on Spotify is just, I can listen to the whole thing. And of course I've been listening to a lot of my go-to Kate Bush. I love Kate Bush so much. Her music does something to me, and whenever happy or sad, whenever I want to listen to something and I have no clue what to listen to, I listen to Kate Bush. I just adore her music so much, and I have done for years and years, and she's just always a good listen. So yeah, listening to a lot of her as well. I think she's been my most listened to music artist for the last 3 years on Spotify. Every year they compile like these statistics for you, so that you can see what you've been listening to the most. And Kate Bush and Cocteau Twins, could it have been the Cranberries or something? And also Susie and the Banshees have been like on the top most years. But anyway, that was just a random side thing there for you. I feel like I've rambled on long enough. And yeah, I don't really think I have anything more to share at this moment in time. I have been quite sharing, I feel. I don't know how much I should have said or not said. But anyway, I just wanted you to know what's been up with me, without giving you any, personal details. Just talking about my feelings and how I've been working through them. And I hope that by doing so, I might be helping somebody else who's struggling at the moment, who needs to find ways to get through whatever it is that you need to get through. And yeah, I hope that you all are doing well and that you are taking care of yourselves. And yeah, I will see you in my next video. Let's just leave it at that. Right. Bye bye.